Hi. Okay, so to start off, trying to figure out what your air is going to do to make a sound on a flute head joint, I'm going to take a small piece of paper, about that size, and I can either go to a wall or I can simply put the piece of paper on my hand. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow my air and keep that piece of paper stationary, either against the wall or my hand. So I'm maintaining the piece of paper on the wall. And so right now, what we're trying to do is get students to regulate Airstream. Now, what do I have to do in order to do that is to make a very concentrated Airstream, and I have to keep the air very fast, because if I try to do it too slowly, the paper will fall down. Okay, once I can keep that piece of paper against my hand or against a wall, the best thing to practice with is either sunflower seeds or rice. And I'm going to take one of those pieces, either a piece of rice or a sunflower seed. I'm going to put it in my mouth, and then I'm going to practice spitting it. And here, I don't want any saliva getting out with that seed or with that piece of rice, but I want to see how far I can send that. Now, I don't have any of that with me right now. I don't have any rice or sunflower seeds. So I'm going to take a piece of paper, I'm going to ball it up. Let's make a little larger one. As compact as I can. And I'm going to take that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in my mouth, and I'm going to set it on the tip of my tongue. And then I'm going to attempt to make a perfect circle with my lips. So this is what it looks like up close. So right there, I'm going to stick this piece of paper, and my goal is to make it go very far. So it's going to kind of make a parabola, an arc, right, as I spit it out, kind of like that, okay? There you go. And I want it to go very far. So is what I was just doing. Now what that's doing is it gets the air moving really quickly, and it also teaches where the tongue is going to be. So look, my tongue is making contact with my teeth. Okay, so I'm ready to move to the head joint now. What I have is just a plain plastic drinking straw. And what I'm going to use this for is to see where the air needs to go into the head joint. So my head joint may look a little bit different than yours. But there's mine. You'll see I have these little wings there. Most beginning flutes don't have those. But I have this hole, and it's either a square or it's an oval or something kind of in between. Usually, though, there's rounded edges there. And what needs to happen is the air is going to be aimed from that little hole that we found in our lips. It's going to be aimed right here at this opposite blowing wall, and it's going to split. So some of the air is going to go across the blowing wall, and some of it's going to go down into the flute. I'm going to use the straw to find the perfect angle to make a sound. So I am going to set the straw on this side of the head joint. This is what it's going to look like in front. Okay. And then now notice if I'm too far to one side or too far to the other, I have to find where it gets the loudest, purest sound. So ideally, we want that straw right in the middle of the hole, and we want it right on the edge of the head joint. I don't want it too far back. If I go too far back, I won't get any sound at all. If I go too far forward, I won't get any sound at all. So I have to find the perfect spot. So it's worth taking some time here in the beginning to work with a straw so that you can visualize where the air is going. Okay? And that perfect circle there, well, it's not quite perfect, the straw's a little bent, is going to replicate the shape that our mouth is going to make when we play. Okay, so I've done the paper. I've practiced spitting seeds or rice. I have used a straw to find the perfect placement on my head joint. And now what I'm ready to do is essentially to make a straw with my lips. So if you think about where we had to put that straw in order to hit that opposite blowing wall on the head joint, I need to make the whole of my lips do the same thing. It's going to angle right here. Okay. So I'm going to use the same kind of air that I used for the paper, that I used for spitting the sunflower seed, but I want to keep that air going. So I'm going to take the sunflower seed concept and I'm going to tongue it like I did, but then I'm also going to keep the air steady like I did for the piece of paper. So I need the tonguing from the sunflower seed and the steadiness of air from the paper. Okay, so now if you notice, the head joint of the flute is rounded and the anatomy of the face has a rounded area here. So the head joint, let me get on the other side, the head joint's going to sit in that chin dent. The hole of the head joint is going to be parallel with the ceiling. So we want it flat across. We don't want it too far rolled in or too far rolled out, okay? If I do that and I set it down in the chin, notice that the lower lip actually covers part of the head joint right there, okay? Now, I'm going to do the same thing that I did to make the shape that I did with the sunflower seed. Now, if the room is cold enough, and I might be able to demonstrate this here, you can see I have a little discoloration on my head joint that makes a little triangle shape there. If the room is cold enough, you will see a vapor trail. It's from condensation from the hot air of your mouth hitting the cold metal of the flute. So you'll see a triangular vapor trail right there. Mine is permanently stained from drinking too much coffee and lemon water. I want to form a triangular shape. If I see something, let me see if I can make this colder. Do you see how open that is compared to that? So I don't want, that's kind of making a lip shape with my lips. I want, remember that perfect circle that I got with the straw. And I want that hole to line up with the hole on the embouchure. This is really helpful to have a mirror or your camera of your phone. And I'm looking for that triangular vapor trail.